There are so many questions, but I think really the first thing is just asking you about the state of the world right now, the state of the Middle East, and how worried are you that this could escalate into something this cataclysmic as nuclear war?
I was very worried about the state of the world before this latest crisis in the Middle East. We were had two situations that were potentially explosive. One is the war between Russia and Ukraine, and the other is the situation surrounding Taiwan. And either of those was ready to explode. In fact, the bulletin of atomic scientists moved the hands of the doomsday clock to 90 seconds before midnight, the closest we've ever been. The clock was started back in 1947. And so that was even before the latest crisis in the Middle East. Now, this has just raised the stakes. We're sitting on a powder keg. It's very, very dangerous. As you were saying, if Israel does invade in Gaza, the casualties, civilian casualties, are going to be horrific on both sides, really, the Israeli soldiers as well as the Palestinians in Gaza. And then what happens with Hezbollah? Does Hezbollah sit back and watch the Palestinians in Gaza get slaughtered? No, I don't think so. So what does that mean? A war against the Palestinians, a war against Hezbollah in Lebanon, a war against Iran, which would very easily spread to Syria, spread to Iraq. So you're painting a picture in which the world could actually be destroyed.
Once that happens, if that happens, it does become a world war, right?
Right. Once that happens, the threat to humanity becomes even more real than it is now. The United States already has two aircraft carrier strike groups in the region. The United States has 2,000 armed troops there already ready to go, and another couple thousand on the way, on alert. So the United States would get involved because Israel would not be able to fight that big a war on its own. And so the chances of this just exploding as a worldwide cataclysm are immense. And in the 1980s, scientists did studies about nuclear winter. And what we know now is that they underestimated the threat. The latest studies say that even a limited nuclear war between India and Pakistan, in which 100 Hiroshima-sized nuclear weapons were used, would send 10 million tons of smoke, soot, and debris into the stratosphere. It would circle the globe within 2 weeks, block the sun's rays from hitting the Earth, and a limited nuclear war using 100 nuclear weapons could kill up to 2 billion people worldwide. We don't have 100 nuclear weapons. We've got close to 13,000. And they're not Hiroshima-sized. Most are between 7 and 70 times as powerful as the Hiroshima bomb, which is why we have to de-escalate all of these conflicts as quickly as possible.
Is it possible to have a World War III without nuclear weapons being used? Or is that almost an inevitability if there is a World War III?
I think it's almost inevitable. We would all hope and pray that there wouldn't be use of nuclear weapons. But I think we've got a lot of situations in which countries would not be able to defend themselves without nuclear weapons. And one country after another says that if their existence as a state is threatened, they would use their nuclear weapons. That's certainly the position that Israel's in. That's the position the United States is in, the position that Russia's in. I mean, one after another. And so the possibility is real.